Let's talk to Faiza in California, USA. Faiza, welcome to the show.
Hi, George. Can you hear me?
I can very clearly. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to ask your views on two topics that I think that it's not being exposed enough. First is the Rothschild, which, all of us know that it's the U.S. government and Britain behind these wars in the Middle East. But we're not pointing the finger enough at the Rothschilds that we know own all the banks, central banks, the Federal Reserve, and the Bank of England, and also Israel's plan to build the greater Israel, which is why all these wars are happening, because they do want, to not only make the state of Israel, but they want, the greater Israel, and that's not being exposed enough also, which, if we can research about that, we can see that they want a larger state, which goes from Syria to Egypt to half of Saudi Arabia to Iraq and, Lebanon. And those 2 points are not being exposed enough, the Rothschild and the Greater Israel Plan. So I'd just like to ask you your views on those.
Yeah, on the second of your 2 points, the 2 blue stripes on the horizontal blue stripes on the Israeli flag represent the Nile, the River Nile in Egypt, and the Euphrates in Iraq. And these delineate the land that the most extreme of the Zionists lay claim to. They say this is Eretz Israel, Greater Israel. Now, they, a year or 2 ago, could only have dreamt that Israeli power could possibly stretch from the Nile to the Euphrates. But it's not so far-fetched any longer. After all, the military junta in Egypt is not occupied by them, but it might as well be, because it is working in perfect synchronicity, perfect collaboration between the military junta in Egypt and the settler apartheid state of Israel. So that's the Nile. And in Iraq, but not quite yet to the Euphrates, the Zionist state and the American and British imperialists have at least achieved this. Directly or indirectly, willingly or accidentally, half of Iraq is no longer controlled by Iraq. Half of it has fallen to a very obscure, ultra-extreme, savagely violent extremist group which is ready and has murdered people of all kinds, but has never once attacked Israel. They haven't so much as thrown a stone through an Israeli embassy window, but they have massacred Christians, Muslims, Arabs, Kurds, and many, many others all over the Middle East. On your first point, Faiza, I'm sorry to tell you that you're just completely wrong. First of all, the Rothschilds do not own all the banks. In Britain, they don't own any banks at all. You said that the Rothschilds own the central banks, and you said in the United States and in Britain. The Bank of England, which is our central bank, is owned by the government and has been for the best part of 100 years. And these kind of misconceptions, which I'm sure that you have honestly read somewhere, are capable of taking you down a very dangerous blind alley. The Rothschilds are an extremely rich Jewish family, but they don't actually own any banks in Britain. I could run through the banks. The banks in Britain are owned by a combination of shareholders, ordinary shareholders, and the British government using taxpayers' money that just bailed them all out. I appeal to you, stop looking under bushes and hedgerows for Jews. It's first of all racist, and it's secondly completely wrong. Our problem is not with the Rothschilds. Our problem is with Obama. Our problem is with Cameron. Our problem is with Murdoch. Our problem is with the governments of America and Britain, and virtually none of those are Jews. It's a very dangerous blind alley that you'll go down by following some trail to find some connection to the Rothschilds. Don't let Obama off the hook by believing that he would do what he should do if only there weren't the Rothschilds or some other Jewish cartel operating behind him. It's him who's guilty. It's Cameron who's guilty. It's Holland who's guilty. It's Merkel who's guilty. It's all these other countries, the Saudis and others, who are supporting mass murder in Palestine, directly or indirectly, that should be attracting your ire and your forensic abilities, not the Rothschilds. Stop looking under bushes and hedgerows for Jews.